Harry and maybe Liam to just come and stand with them for support. Levy.
My dear Shosho, she was the embodiment of kindness, grace, and endless joy. No matter how she was feeling, she always found a way to comfort you through whatever you were going through. Even when I felt like I didn't have much to be proud of, she would tell me how proud she was of who I was becoming, and she always reminded me how much she loved me and believed in me. That was truly the kind of person she was, kind-hearted and nurturing, touching the hearts of everyone around her with her warmth and love. Even in difficult times, she somehow found the strength to smile or try and make us smile. The strength she showed us every day, even through pain and struggles, was a reminder of how she truly loved us and cared for us. I'll never forget the warmth every time she hugged me. I'll never forget her beautiful smile and her encouraging words, or the stories she shared when we would go on walks together or at the dinner table. She was truly a pillar of strength, love, and showed me every single day what resilience and selflessness truly meant. Her legacy of kindness and joy will live on in all of us. Rest peacefully, Shosho, forever in our hearts.
Writing this was a difficult feat, Shosho could be described as the fountain that keeps giving. She filled our hearts with love, courage, and so much hope. It's hard to say goodbye to someone that has not only been your biggest advocate and supporter, but also such a near and dear friend. You will be missed, Shosh, but you told me that this was goodbye for now. Until we meet again in Italy, riding around in your red convertible, listening to ABBA, you are loved.
Thank you. Let's give them another round of applause for their bravery. I'd like now to invite the children of Mamwanja, Gondi, Tito, Mokami, and Wanja to please come up and give your tribute.
Good afternoon, everybody. So I wrote this letter once we realized that we wouldn't have much time with Mom, and I titled it Time for Wanjira. You never step into the same river twice, yet every drop, like every moment of love, feels familiar. Which ripple sparks memory, and which fades into the current? I can't remember when it began, but I know that the first waves of your love reached me before my soul found a home in this body. You loved me before time began its march against us here on earth. Yours is a love that I know better than I know myself. Even as thousands of memories obscure my mind's eye, your love remains tangible, like the shirt on my back. I wear it, and it wears me. I've known this feeling for so long that I took for granted that it would always live in the body from which it radiates. The woman whose teeth collapsed months after giving birth to me, but spoke of the pain as a badge of honor, the price of admission to the joyous journey of motherhood. The same woman who made her cheek twitch, curling her lip into a mock smile, a mock snarl, just to coax a smile from me when I was sad or angry. The woman who sat patiently at our dinner table, watching joy spread across my face as I learned to write my first word. The woman whose hugs radiated love and safety. Wanjira. My foolish heart convinced itself that the flesh, the bone, and the skin I've known all my life was the love itself, like a river I could step into whenever I wanted to feel that cool, refreshing jolt. But time isn't as foolish as my heart. Every year you changed a little, aged a little. Yet because God has been so kind to you, the changes were imperceptible to me. You have always been beautiful. When time turned your hair gray, your beauty turned those harbingers of a coming sunset into hallmarks of elegance in my eyes. When your gait slowed, your energy shifted from driving your movement to firing your will. In the creases and wrinkles that formed across the corners of your eyes, I saw wisdom, not thinning skin. When time sent illness, I saw determination. And now, as time signaled the end of your physical life, I saw, more than ever, the courage to face the inevitable. Time saw through the naivety of my heart. Now I know. What I thought was my enemy is my teacher. Time is teaching me that you are more than the person that I can see or touch. Every act of your physical being has been love, translated into flesh, bone, and a personage I could understand. Your lessons in writing were love teaching me to wield words, because they hold more power than any ounce of strength God has given me. Words that have become the stories that I now tell the world. Your eyes, dancing with light or dimmed with despair, were love reflecting the moments that you were passing through. Your words of encouragement were love telling me not to give up, even as wave upon wave of bad news crashed into our family. Your tears were literal streams from that river of love, pure, even when you cried in frustration, anger, or in the face of betrayal. Your courage to keep going, even when you stood alone, showed me that love is the foundation of legacy. And now, as you find peace in saying goodbye, it is a peace I still struggle to understand. I feel it must come from the one who made the river flow, the one who gave Wanjira to us. He is telling us to let go of the apparition that is your physical presence and accept who you truly are. I am in the middle of the greatest lesson. I am in the middle of the greatest lesson about love. Time is teaching my novice heart. I am learning that love is always a gift, even when it's disguised as grief. Where cool waters once soothed my skin in the river of your love, grief now shakes me awake. Our mortal circumstances say that I will never talk to you again, but talking is merely love decoded. When longing to be in your company washes over me, it is love reminding me that though droplets form into waves and run past, they are all still water. How can I long for the water that has just flowed by when I am steeped in an endless current? How can I long for only what I will remember when I'm wrapped in something that existed before memory? You have, are, and will always love me. As one of your children, I have no choice but to love you, and I wouldn't want it any other way. Your love is my window into understanding God's love. You loved me beyond time. But I do have a foolish heart. So I rush to make the most of our time. I rage at its passing. Grief chokes me when I think of losing you. Tears well up without warning. I am jolted awake by the thought of time slipping away and fall asleep wondering how long we have left. Sunrises are somber and sunsets are solemn. It is, I know, only human to mourn you. I desperately want to be more than human, so that I don't have to live with the fear of losing a cornerstone in my life. This feeling will never leave me. I feel I will be hollowed out by your absence, but I trust that with time, I will understand why my heart must endure this. May God mend my foolish, breaking heart. Goodbye, Mommy.
It's almost afternoon. Good afternoon, church.